If anyone has an objection to it and if they file a PL and things like that, even those aspects can be insured.
I've actually heard of this. There was a movie called Delhi Belly that released. There's a song there called DK Bose.
Yeah.
There's somebody called DK Bose.
Exactly. So the earliest insurance that was done for a movie was for the movie Tal. Like suppose we have a shoot here, there is equipment here. If a thing falls down and breaks, is it your responsibility as the podcast organizer or is it the vendor's responsibility?
It's probably yours because that's why we called you here.
I don't want to take names.
Yeah, that's fine.
Certain production houses, they have a tendency to make insurance claims frequently. And today if you go to an insurance company with those production house inquiries, they will probably not entertain it. They'll come to Mario and say, okay, let's get a medical insurance for you.
Okay.
I had this.
Sorry. He looked at me and said vehicle. You looked at him and said medical.
Medical insurance.
Medical insurance.
Best thing somebody could do is to insult you, because if you take it the right way, you will pull yourself up like, I'm never going to go through that again. And therefore, there's no looking back.
Welcome to Pineapple Podcast, episode number 4. Insurance, a very drab, boring, dull topic. That's what we all think, isn't it? Our special guest for today, Gaurav, CEO and founder of Pro Advice, owns an internet insurance marketing company. How does that work? This is one story you absolutely must hear. In fact, I learned so much about this industry today, which I didn't even know existed. Stay tuned.
Pineapple Podcast, episode number 4. We are 4 episodes in, Mario, and today we have an entrepreneur friend with us, Mr. Gaurav. Thank you so much for joining us. In my mind, you are the most boring entrepreneur ever. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
You decided to be an entrepreneur in the insurance industry.
Okay.
I have never met an entrepreneur in the insurance industry. It is always some fancy app. It is drone. It is some other stuff. We'll come to that. But you are in the insurance. Why insurance?
Maybe you can start by telling him that maybe he should be reading a little more before he makes such grand statements.
Why?
Ignorance. Do you know how many people are in reinsurance and insurance?
I do not.
Many startups. Please tell him, Gaurav.
So basically, I started working as an insurance agent at the age of 18, and at that point of time, the idea was I wanted to, somewhere even when I was working with a company, I wanted to start something on my own. And because I spent in so many years in insurance, I kind of branched out in the insurance industry.
When did you start this?
I started working when I was 18, and the first few years were as an insurance agent, those annoying ones who make these calls saying that, हमारे पास नया प्लान लॉन्च हुआ है, क्या आपको लेना है? So that went on for 3.5 years kind of thing. And somewhere in between, I did my master's in media and entertainment.
While you were employed?
While I was self-employed, I took a break and kind of did my master's in media and entertainment.
Okay, you were an insurance agent.
Absolutely.
Then you left and were self-employed. So you had already started another company.
No, so I started from the age 18. I started working as an insurance agent.
Okay.
I was always working as an insurance agent. In between, I kind of took a break for a couple of years, did my master's in media and entertainment, and worked with an advertising agency for 6 months. Then got back to insurance. Then got back to the domain of media and entertainment insurance, where we do insurance for movies, large-scale concerts, web series, all those stuff.
Insurance for movies?
Yeah.
What
When
are you
a
insuring?
movie is shot during the production stage, if a crew member gets injured or if an artist is unable to perform due to an accident and then there are continuity issues, all those insurances.
Isn't that normal accidental insurance?
No, it's to do with a shoot budget. So say suppose if there is for a feature film, the shoot is going to be on for about 120 days or 130 days, whatever. If suppose at the end of 20-30 days, the artist is unable to shoot, the production expenses go for a toss.
So you will be insuring the cost of a new artist?
The cost, the additional cost of shooting, or if probably if an artist has to be replaced, that particular cost is covered.
So example, there's a movie going on, a very famous Bollywood actor is there.
Absolutely.
20-30 दिन काम किया,
काम किया है.
कुछ हो गया.
कुछ हो गया.
Now we need another Bollywood actor.
Okay, so one is if you need another Bollywood actor, in that case, probably if there is, what happens is if something happens, your shoot schedule is going to go haywire. You will not be able to shoot for any number of days. So whatever those additional days that are there for which the shoot has to be done, all those costs can be insured.
So who exactly buys these policies?
These are typically bought by production houses. So everyone from a Dharma production to a Yash Raj Films to Pooja Films, all those. So all the movies that you see today, all of them are insured.
So 120 days you said normal.
Yeah.
ठीक है, 120 days में से 20 दिन shooting हो गया.
बिल्कुल.
अब problem हो गया. So now we're going to extend by let's say another 20 days.
Another 20 days. So what happens is for a shoot you have a running cost.
Daily cost.
Daily cost because
for people who are
exactly because if a particular artist is unable to shoot, there are probably 10 different other artists who are also signed up.
Yes.
So again, their cost, the cost of studio rentals, daily workers, all of that, whatever additional expenses become, those can be insured.
Okay.
Plus, if there is a fire on the set of a film shoot,
Fair.
the set damage, the workers can meet with an accident. Today, for a movie like if there is a Sheila ki Jawani song, if someone is named Sheila, she can technically file a case on the production house saying that because the song is Sheila ki Jawani, people are not teasing me and it causes me mental harassment. So we've seen issues like that as well.
How can you insure for that?
So there is it's something called as a media liability. When you're putting things out in the public, if anyone has an objection to it and if they file a PR and things like that, even those aspects can be insured.
You know, I've actually heard of this. There was a movie called Delhi Belly. There's a song there called DK Bose.
Yeah.
There's somebody called DK Bose.
Exactly.
Damn.
So are such cases allowed in India now? Because I knew a few years ago you can't get these are called class action lawsuits or individual lawsuits?
These are individual lawsuits.
Individual lawsuits. So these kind of lawsuits were always filed in India. People were filing these a long time ago. Why did it take so long for this type of insurance to come to India?
So the earliest insurance that was done for a movie was for the movie Tal. Way back. Then
1998,
probably a 98 kind of thing, but it's only got precedence in the recent time with all the organized financing and stuff coming in. That is when it has gone more mainstream.
Do you know why they did it for Tal?
So they had done the entire production insurance, crew insurance, everything for Tal. So Tal was the first Bollywood movie to be insured.
Any reason they did it?
So it was essentially the concept has flew down from the West.
Okay.
So one of the executive producers who had joined Mumtaz had probably brought in this idea to them.
So now your startup is doing this.
So we are in the domain of corporate insurance or business insurance.
What's the name of the company, by the way?
The company name is ProAdvice.
ProAdvice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're
and
in the.
Where can people find you? ProAdvice.net.
It's proadvice.in.
Okay.
And we are in the domain of corporate insurance or business insurance. What we do is we try and understand different industries, say a film industry or an events industry or an exhibition industry, and then we kind of customize insurance coverages. So these are not typically available off the net or off the shelf. We go back to the insurance company and tell them, look, there is a market for this. This is how your insurance policies can be structured, and that is the role that we play.
Are you under regulation from the IRD by any chance?
We are an IRD registered company. So yeah, we do come under the IRD.
So, regulation for insurance in India is very, very tight.
Absolutely.
So I'm guessing it took a long time for India to open up to all these different other types of insurance also, right? So I'm guessing all these are newer forms of insurance that have come in over the last few years. So how tight is the regulation here in India?
So IRDA per se deals with registering or empaneling a particular intermediary in terms of prior to, so it took us like a good 1 year when, from the point we started the application to getting the IRDA license. These newer type of insurances have come in predominantly because a lot of private sector insurance companies that came in, something like a Bajaj Allianz or a Future Generali, their foreign partners already had expertise in this. So that is where once they came in, they were quick to introduce those products. And what we did was, because we knew a bit of both the industries, insurance and media and entertainment, we kind of married both the concepts together.
Insurance and media and entertainment. Are you the only player in this sector right now?
No, there are a couple of bigger players than us.
Bigger players, okay.
Yeah, or probably they, in terms of distribution network, they are more widely spread.
Huh. What would be, when I took insurance briefly during MBA,
Okay.
one of the things that, there are two things that I told us. Number one is the way insurance grows in India is you said Bajaj Allianz. So Allianz will come in with a 49% stake, Bajaj will put in 51%. You have Bajaj Allianz.
Right.
Same thing you had Max New York Line.
Absolutely.
All of them will do 49, 49, 49.
Yeah.
And the reason they do that is because it takes 15 to 19 years for an insurance company to start making money.
Absolutely.
Is that true?
Yeah.
It's true for you as well?
Not for us, because what happens is, as distributors, it's a more ground up model. There is no capital investment per se. It's a lot of effort investment.
Are you reinsuring or insuring?
No, we are an insurance broker.
Okay.
So we
are a broker. Okay.
Yeah, we are an insurance broker.
So Bajaj Allianz, LIC will tell you these are our products, and you will be structuring those proposals for clients.
Yeah.
Got it.
So only bit what we've done is, where we've tried to be a little different is, we've tried to understand a particular industry, say an events industry, for example, and then go back to the insurance company and say that for the event industry, this is how we can do stuff a little different.
Could you give me an example of something different that you could have done?
Okay, so a couple of examples for a wedding that happened, a very big wedding. There were a lot of artists that were performing.
Okay.
We did a 1-day accident insurance cover for each artist.
Each individual artist?
Each individual artist was covered for an amount of 5 crore just for that 1 day.
So let me deep probe a little bit. So let's say there's one artist who is maybe an acrobat. Circus person who can do acrobatics.
Absolutely.
One artist is a singer.
Absolutely.
So you will specifically say, okay, this person's accidental insurance will be more. The other person's might be less.
Yeah.
So this person you have to pay this much. This
person you have to pay this much.
Got it.
So the idea is to try and understand the industry and what kind of an insurance cover can you probably curate for them.
So in this case, who pays the premium? Who takes it?
It's ideally the organizer or the production house that pays the insurance.
So they're the one who are actually covering the artist. So
Yeah, because they are the one who are kind of empaneling the artist for a particular performance.
What if the artist wants to take a policy on his own?
They can on an
Why would he? So organizers are there. If something happens during a show, most artists will expect the organizers to bear.
Yeah, but the artist performs in multiple places, and some cases there's no such coverage. Then the artist was there.
That kind of a thing is possible. Another way to play it is, there are a couple of organizers. What they did was, they told the artist, you take an insurance cover. If you want to perform at our particular event, or if you want to work in our particular project, you take an insurance cover, send us those documents, we'll reimburse the cost to you. But the idea is that all the insurance responsibility then is on the artist, not on the organizer. So it can be done either ways, but usually the trend is, there is either a production house or an organizer, a concert organizer who would take the insurance cover. So even something like, for the example of a concert, if you have, just taking a name for the sake of taking, say if you have a Sonu Nigam concert, while all your other preparations are done, but if the artist is unable to perform due to an accident to himself, again the organizer will have to cancel the concert. So again, that is a non-performance cover that can be taken by the organizer.
So, okay. Now non-performance cover.
Absolutely.
Artist is not able to perform.
Absolutely.
Non-performance cover means reimbursing everyone.
All the vendors, all the setup that you've done, the money that you've spent in marketing, in booking the venue. Like suppose if say you've taken a ticket for a particular concert, if the artist is unable to come and the organizer cancels the concert, As a ticket holder, would you want a refund of the money?
Not just money, even my travel, I would like.
Okay.
I
So
get
that
it.
is ideally what happens is if you want a refund, a Paytm or a Book My Show would pay you the refund. For the organizer, what would happen is all the revenue that he's earned, he has to give the revenue back.
Oh.
Plus, there are production expenses, venue rental expenses, sound light setup, marketing, all those costs are a drain cost, which is where the organizer will face a financial loss, which is what the insurance company covers.
So how do you make money?
So because we are a distributor, our line of work is predominantly in two verticals, I would say. One is you earn a distribution income on the amount of premium that you generate for an insurance company. Which
Okay.
means if I'm working with a Bajaj Allianz and in a year, in one particular segment, I've done like say a crore rupees worth of premium collection, I would typically earn a distribution income from there, from the insurance
A
company.
rebate or percentage of revenue?
A percentage of that. So
Okay.
it's a one-time thing. There is no repeat. But typically, if you have a concert or if you have a festival or a Filmfare Awards, the Filmfare Awards happens every year. So if you are insuring a Filmfare Award, again, it would be sort of a repeat income for you. So one is that aspect. Second aspect is we work with on the risk management front, wherein we advise event organizers or a film production house on how do you devise the entire risk management. Now let me give you an example. You go to a particular concert, on the stage you see this high-end sound systems and stuff, there is stressing and all that, right? So parallel to the organizer industry, there is a equipment rental industry. There are companies who own inventory worth 20 crore, 30 crore, and their business is to rent out equipment to for concerts. So if the equipment gets damaged, it is not the organizer's responsibility.
Okay. Whose is it?
The equipment owner who's renting the equipment out. So there are professional sound and light companies whose day in day out work is to provide sound solutions, lighting solutions to the organizers. They will come and do the entire setup.
Okay.
The organizer responsibility is to get the artists, get the crowd, get the people to buy tickets. So they insure their part. The equipments are insured to be insured by the vendor companies. So a lot of times when we work with organizers, they find it difficult to draw a line. Or probably an equipment owner might think that my equipments would be insured. Like suppose we have a shoot here, there is equipment here. If a thing falls down and breaks, is it your responsibility as a podcast organizer or is it the vendor's responsibility?
It's probably yours because that's why we called you here.
So I'll give you a scenario, right? Let's say, for instance, Taylor Swift. She's.
I knew you would bring Taylor Swift. I knew
is
it.
a big guy. The organizers have organized it. Hundreds of thousands of followers. Now, a lot of these artists are very particular with the light and sound.
Absolutely.
Very particular.
Absolutely.
It has to happen their way.
Yeah.
Right? So all the tickets are sold. 1 week before the concert, Taylor Swift, assuming this is just a case, sends the folks do a light and sound check. They are not happy with the setup. Now they can cancel.
They
the
can,
show.
absolutely.
If it is not up to them because the sound doesn't go out well, they are the loss.
Absolutely.
So now in this case, in case she cancels, right? It's not like she can't sing. She very well can just set the whole infrastructure to mark. Now she cancels. Now how? Two questions. How much of it does the organizer take, right? Because there's really nothing wrong with this. It's not met her, met
standards.
Now, when you take car insurance, right? Let's say you knock someone, you bang someone, the insurance company takes that, but your points go down, right? Your points keep going down. So let's assume somebody like Taylor Swift, she keeps going to multiple places and keeps doing the same thing, right? Generally, people should know that her points are coming down because this artist is doing the same thing with people. So is there a similar kind of point system here for?
There is so as of now there is no organized point system, so as to say, but if you're working in a particular industry, you get to know.
Okay.
I don't take names.
Yeah, that's fine.
Certain production houses, they have a tendency to make insurance claims frequently. And today if you go to an insurance company with those production house inquiries, they will probably not entertain it. So within the industry, it then over a 2-3 years, it tends to become an open secret kind of
So
thing.
if a claim comes in,
Yeah.
is there anything anything Pro Advice has to do, or that's
So
directly?
essentially, where what we do a turnkey or an end-to-end role on the advisory front, right from taking the insurance cover to placing it with an insurance company, negotiating the insurance coverages, and tomorrow if a claim comes, we help out with all the insurance related documentation
Okay.
to see that a claim is settled. Or if there are some instances where there is a dispute with respect to amount, probably the production house may feel that I should get a claim of 3 crores. The insurance company feels it is around 2 crore 20 lakhs. So there we try and play a facilitative role. But it's in the advisory capacity. So personally, we don't pay a loss from out of our pocket. We are distributors, and in case a claim happens, we help out with the claim process.
Basically, putting it in this way, in the IT industry, we had system integrators. गला किसी का दबाना है तो आपका दबता है.
गला मेरा नहीं दबता है, अगर दबेगा तो मे बी फ्रॉम अ क्रेडिबिलिटी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. सो possibly from a credibility point of view, if I'm handling a claim which is not being settled, it will hit my credibility, but nothing on me financial.
Credibility.
Yeah.
You've spent what 20 years now in this industry?
18, 24.
24. You started Pro Advice this year, last year?
So interesting. So I incorporated the company in 2022.
Okay.
But I registered the brand name in 2010.
So you always knew that you were going to start an insurance startup.
So the idea was, because I was into insurance, and so what happens when I used to work as an individual, typically an individual agent would work with individual customers.
Okay.
They would come to Krishna and say, okay, your vehicle insurance is there, I'll get it done.
Huh?
They'll come to Mario and say, okay, let's get a medical insurance for you.
Okay.
I had this.
Sorry, he looked at me and said vehicle. You looked at him and said medical.
I don't look like I need medical insurance.
Medical insurance.
So I'm indirectly checking whether you have those in place or not. So like at the end of the podcast, I need to have 2 new customers.
Medical insurance. So interestingly, I'm gonna.
Wait, no, he was telling a story. So what happened?
No. This is right where he left off.
Okay.
You know, you said you started working when you were 18, right?
Yeah.
I want to go back a little bit there.
Okay.
When you're 18, right? In that age, people were getting into engineering, medicine. You didn't do that. You broke away and you started, working as an insurance agent, which was not the thing that time, right? So how were you able to manage the peer pressure around you? You were doing gig jobs at a time when the gig economy wasn't existing. How are you running with this back then?
So essentially, so there's a saying, necessity is the mother of invention. So I started working because our family at that time was going through a bad phase. Somewhere I felt I had to start working. So started working from that perspective. And to be honest, I think post my 12th, although I've done my graduation, FYJC, I didn't attend a single day of college. SYJC, I went to college one of the days and went on the first floor. I felt this would be the classroom. I sat there. And 10-15 minutes into the lecture, I said, yeah, suna aisa lag raha hai. Turned out I was in the 12th standard class. So then I came out, I called up a few common friends. I said, apna kaun se floor pe hai? So they were like, tu kahan pe hai? So I said, I'm on the first floor. They said, second floor pe hai. So parallelly started working, but the idea was that once you start working, you get into that particular zone itself. So FYJC, SYJC, TY was on the college front was quite a blur, so as to say.
But this is quite normal. I'm not saying the normal in the sense you're normal, or I don't mean it that way. I've heard a lot of people say that when they're doing commerce, they'll attend college for the first half of the day, and everyone goes to either work in a home office, in a factory, or do their chartered accountancy or something in the second half of the day. This I've heard very strictly from commerce, but you did it in insurance.
Yeah.
Insurance commerce में सिखाते हैं?
तभी नहीं सिखाते थे.
तभी नहीं सिखाते थे. Okay.
So it was at that point. It was like, what's available? What is available for an 18-year-old?
How did you get started? Who gave you this job?
So essentially, there was some. So basically, there were these development officers. The insurance company hires a development officer or a unit manager.
Which insurance company?
Any insurance
This
company.
must have been LIC, right? Back then.
LIC and probably all the private insurance companies had just started.
Okay.
So typically they would have a set of employees who are called unit managers, whose job is to empanel insurance agents who would work for the insurance company on a freelance basis.
Okay.
So was approached by them, got started into this. The first 5 years were like extreme struggle. Because
In what way?
in terms of if an 18-year-old comes to you and talks to you about insurance,
Yeah.
you like, किससे बात कर रहा हूँ? So one, that was a perspective. Secondly, because you're an 18-year-old, you don't really know how to sell.
What was your salary then, if you don't mind me
There was
asking?
no salary. So
you
it
get-
was like an insurance agent per se is the 100% payable is on whatever sales you bring in.
Okay.
So if you don't bring sale, yeah.
This was only life insurance you were selling back then, right? Were there other categories?
No,
apart
there
from
was life insurance that I was selling.
Yeah.
Then basically, because I was trying to sell life insurance, but I couldn't sell life insurance. So then the easiest was vehicle insurance, karalo, all those things. So that kind of started it. But over a period of time, what I realized was I felt probably getting into corporate insurance domain would be was a better deal, because if you cracked a bigger deal, say if a company has factory worth 20 crores, if I crack that deal, the payout is significantly higher.
You would get a percentage of 20 crores?
No, of the premium. That
Premium, right, sorry.
If
So,
I would have got a percentage of 20 crores, Bandra.
I mean, 20 crores ka factory, you would have insured them for maybe 60 lakhs, 70 lakhs.
Probably if the cost is 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakh, whatever, you get a percentage of that.
Got it.
So I started so what I did was, even when I was working as an individual, I realized that if I have to work with companies, if I want to work with corporates, I can't carry an individual identity.
So you registered Pro
So I
Advice.
registered Pro Advice, ran it as an individual, but I had the domain name proadvice.in back then. All my mails would go from proadvice.in. So typically, the corporate would think that this is a company that I'm working with.
Didn't you need IRDA certification?
I had an individual IDA certification. That is
Fantastic.
called playing along the line.
It's fantastic, no?
And in 2022, when we kind of got the required capital and everything in place, applied for the insurance marketing firm license, got it in 2022. Last 2 years now, so we are a formally private limited company since the last 2 years.
So when you say we, is the company IRDA certified or everybody in the
Now the
company?
company is IRDA certified.
So if anyone joins your company, they are eligible to go and sell insurance.
Absolutely, yeah.
They don't need to be IRDA
So
certified.
even they need to be IRDA certified.
That's a requirement. Okay.
But then that would be linked, so their registration would be linked to our company. So it's like we have to sponsor a candidate. Say if I have 5 salespeople, all the 5 salespeople are IRDA registered, but on the IRDA registration portal, they are linked to Pro Advice.
Was anyone hired in your company without IRDA and you had to register their IRDA for them?
So we, the first couple of employees that we got on board, we got them on board first. At that time, they would do more administration back-end work. 3 months, 6 months into the system, we then said, okay, you go for this examination, whatever is the cost, the company will pick up the
There's
cost.
an exam?
There is a training, and then there is exam, and it has to be the license needs to be renewed every 3 years.
You have to pay for it to be renewed?
There is a nominal fee that
Okay.
needs to be paid. So even everyone who's working, me and all the employees that are there, all of them need to be registered every 3 years. The renewal needs to be done every 3 years. For the company's license also needs to be renewed every 3 years.
It's like a law company. You
Yeah.
hire law students
Yeah.
and then they take the bar exam as they are employed.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice, fantastic. So you registered proadvice.in.
Absolutely.
ProAdvice was not IRDA certified, but you were IRDA certified.
I was IRDA certified.
So you are cold calling people?
I used to cold call, harass people, yes.
Fantastic, man. That's,
So it looks like you were playing the long game for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, when you were 18, 19, did you think that insurance would be your career? I mean,
No. I was extremely passionate about working in the media industry or working in advertising. That was my first instinct. I had to start insurance, which is where halfway down the line I kind of took a break, did my masters in media and entertainment.
where did you do it?
I did it from Manipal and Whistling Woods. So Whistling Woods is the college that Subhash Ghai runs at Film City.
so you decided to pivot back to insurance instead of staying on that track.
No.
media.
So again, interesting. After when we were doing the 2 years of masters, me and a couple of other students, or a couple of my batchmates, we would always do something or the other. So in those 2 years, we've done sponsorship sales, we've done an open mic, various things. So our idea was, while we were in the college, we would attend the college and stuff. Post the college, we would either go to a brand office and say that, okay, so we got in touch with an organizer who was in Bangalore. He was organizing a Sonu Nigam concert. We went up to him and said that we'll get you sponsorships. Whatever sponsorships we bring in, we need a 10% cut on that. And we were able to bring in a lot of barter sponsors, a lot of cash sponsors for the Sonu Nigam concert. And that is where we made our money. So even during those 2 years, we then tied up with, so Whistling Woods has a film production department, School of Production, School of Direction, that way. So the School of Direction students are supposed to direct a diploma short film.
Okay.
So we went up to those students and said that you are going to make a film. We will do the marketing for it. So again, that is, so those 2 years, all of that happened, and the three of us, our end plan was, at the end of our college, we wanted to start a film marketing agency, so as to speak. But we got dependent on one particular client or one particular production house who gave us hopes that our film is in the making, and because the production house, the executive producer had come to Whistling Woods for a guest lecture, he had seen that these guys are hustling. So he had kind of in principle promised us that when my film comes on floor, I will definitely have you all on board as the agency.
Okay.
Might not be the main agency, but we'll give you some work. But unfortunately, his film got delayed. We did not have a backup plan. So then again, our intent of starting a marketing agency didn't really bore fruit. Tried doing an job with an advertising agency for 6 months. They asked me to sign a contract which said that if I leave their company, I can't go and work with another advertising agency for another 2 years. I said no, thank you. I can't be doing an MBA and then taking a foolish decision for myself. Life took me back to insurance. I found a way back to media and entertainment in the form of insurance for films, events, all those things.
I have to take a few multiple steps back.
Yeah.
When I was in college, we would attend a lecture and then we would go get drunk.
Oh.
You are in college, you're attending your lecture, but you're doing this.
Yeah.
How? What was, why, where is this force coming from?
Okay. So usually what happens is, if you see a normal life, a linear life, so as to say, you will complete your education when you're 22, you will find someone when you're 24, get settled at work when you're 26, get married. I started working when I was 18. I met someone significant when I was 19. The significant one, someone passed away when we were 24. So a lot of, and when we had kind of announced it to her parents that we want to stay together, we want to get married, there was a lot of objection because financially there was difference between both the families. A lot of my motivation to hustle, to do something work-wise, comes from that particular experience. So when I was in college for the media and entertainment, yes, it's not that we would go and party and stuff, but we would constantly hustle around on doing something or the other project. Because the three of us, when we got together, our intent was that once the MBA is done, by the time we graduate, we need to have the first couple of projects in our belt. So again, that is where a lot of work motivation comes from, that particular source.
Did you know that about him? I didn't know this about him. That's one way to have passion. That's one very. So the passion is, look, we wanted to get married. This was something I really wanted in my life, but I was stopped because people think I'm not economically ready. I am never going to be in that situation again.
Absolutely.
I am going to hustle and make sure I get there.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Somebody said, and I'm going to paraphrase, when someone insults you, that's the best thing they could do to you. Because it almost is guaranteeing your success. Because you're going to work so hard just to prove that person wrong. Barbara Corcoran from Shark Tank said this to someone who was facing, the best thing somebody could do is to insult you, because if you take it the right way, you will pull yourself up like, I'm never going to go through that again. And therefore, there's no looking.
I'll take that one step further.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be insulting.
Absolutely.
It's even worse when what they say to insult you is actually true. In my head, what was said to Gaurav at that time was true.
Absolutely.
And he said, no, this may be true now. It's not going to be true anymore. And that's the reason he's hustling. If someone insults you and it's not true, you can just dismiss it.
Yeah, if it's not true.
But if someone insults you and you feel like, shit, that's actually true. No, now see what I'm made of. And now you go out and prove yourself. So how long since that happened and you registered Pro Advice?
This 8 years about.
8 years. So from the time this happens until the time you're registering Pro Advice, you have finished your mass media, or you're going now into mass media?
No, I finished my mass media, just finished my mass media, started working in the advertising agency around that period. Then basically because the job didn't work out, or probably the terms and conditions of the job didn't work out, and it was my decision to saying that I don't want to continue this way. Came back to insurance because that's the only thing that you know. Then started meeting people, then that's when I got a little more focused on, okay, now that I'm here, what is it that I want to do? So that is where all the decision making of me wanting to work with corporates only or in the business insurance domain, all those thought processes started. That is where the Pro Advice, domain name, everything was registered. And I said, even though I may be an individual, in front of the client, I'm going to act like I am a company. So there was a gaurav.vasani@proadvice.in. There was another email address, support@proadvice.in.
Both you.
Both.
So
That is epic.
not a lot of people know about this type of insurance security. Is it possible, or do you fancy yourself one day going in front of the Shark Tank panel?
See, to be honest, I registered the company a couple of years ago, and the first year, so once you register the company, you then have to start the process of empaneling with all the insurance companies again. This time,
What is empaneling?
So essentially, because you are an insurance marketing firm, you have to go to each company and empanel. So basically, do the empanelment documentation.
क्या होता है empanel?
Basically, give your PAN card, this, all that. KYC, or basically registering with them as a channel partner, so as to say.
Got it. Okay.
But because the insurance marketing firm as a concept was new, a lot of companies did not have departments for that. Insurance marketing firm was a new channel started by insurance regulators. So a lot of companies were not ready. Like, हम ही अभी prepared नहीं है. We know there is something called as IMF. तुम register करवा लिए हो, but we don't have the things in place to register an IMF. So the registration, completing the registration took like 6-7 months with all the companies. The first year of operation, which was last year, because this was around post-COVID वगैरह where work had got affected, Last year, though I had worked the entire 12 months, I had not picked up a single rupee of salary
For how long?
for the last 12 months. The first year of the company, we did close to a turnover of about 1.5 crores, but I didn't pick up any salary because I was not sure whether how this is going to pan out in the long term. So I relied more on my savings and everything. Nothing picked up from the company. Right now, if you ask me, probably I don't have a defined business model as yet. In terms of strategy wise, what do you want to do over the next 5 years? I don't have an answer to that. But probably it's like if you're driving on a road, it's you want to drive down that road, it's a little foggy, you can't see the complete way ahead.
Yeah.
But then
I'm glad you're like humble enough to admit that. I also want to point out something you just said. A lot of people think that when someone comes and says, "I'm doing 1.5 crore business," you're walking around with a cash, with a wallet bungling full of cash. And in many cases, that's not it. The promoter, your company may be having a huge turnover, but you may be taking very little salary, and in fact, you may be making a lot of sacrifices. I just think I'm not sure whether the public opinion as of large is that promoters have it good because they are in touch with so much money. You want to speak to that?
so one thing that I've learned the hard way is financial discipline is extremely important. I've seen a day when I've spent 10,000 rupees in a day. I've seen a day when I did not have 50 bucks. And I walked from Borivali to Andheri to a client's office, closed a group health insurance, which is your employee medical insurance, with the check, came back walking from Andheri to Borivali because I didn't have money. When my family got to know about it, they knocked me on the head and said, "Are you crazy? Why you don't need to do that?" But I said, I want to do that because I need to learn a lesson. Right now, I am extremely disciplined in terms of what is company money versus what is my money. Say, when we wanted to buy a laptop, internally I've set a limit like the company will spend around 30,000. Now I saw a particular laptop which was a 45,000. So if Gaurav को खुजली है 45,000 का laptop लेने की, the company will still spend 30,000. Let Gaurav spend the balance 15,000. So I kind of follow that discipline to the T. If I was in Calcutta a couple of weeks ago, it was a 2-day conference, but I had this thing that I've never visited Calcutta, so I said let me go a few days prior. The 2 days of conference I'll attend. Let me go 3 days prior, I'll freak out a little. So again, whatever the total expenses were there, 70% of the expenses I bore as an individual. The 30% of the expense comes from the company account. So what you're saying is right. A lot of times, if you are the promoter, it is very easy to spend company money on individual things. And there is no one questioning it. But if you want to be there for the long run, you need to have a very clear demarcation.
So your company, I'm guessing this is the same culture. Do you have a chartered accountant? I'm guessing who manages funds?
So we have a chartered accountant who helps us out with the compliance, company filing, all those. But a lot of day-to-day decision making is something that I've put in place.
Okay.
And when the rest of the employees see that ये boss ही कंजूस ही है, so then they also kind of toe the line.
But where to incentivize them? I mean, Kanjus is for the promoter, right? So how do you keep them incentivized?
So right now what we are doing is we have lesser number of employee count. So if suppose I see a need for 7 employees, right now we have 5. And what we do is we try and incentivize them for different work. So what I've done is I've kind of laddered the incentive structure, saying that if you're just doing admin work, the incentive will be say a 2%.
Okay.
If you know how to send quotations to the client, it will be a 3%. If you can talk to a client and close a deal, the incentive is 5%. If you can handle insurance claims as well, end to end, then the incentive ladders up to a 10%. So now what happens is with those 5 employees, the roadmap is clear. You improve your skill sets, your incentives will improve. If you want to stay at 2%, good luck to you. Second is, this year we came in the purview of GST. Once you cross a 20 lakh turnover, we had the conversation a couple of days. That's why I kind of knew it hands-on, this is there. So one of the employees who takes care of accounting, of course, as an accounts executive, you're going to earn limited salary. So when I went to the chartered accountant, he said, we'll charge you X amount for GST return filing and stuff. I went to the accounts executive and said, look, if you can learn this bit and handle GST returns for the company, rather than paying X to the CA, I'll pay a X minus 20 to you. For you, it is additional income. So now he's taken up the mantle of learning the entire bits of GST. He's readied up himself. He was the one who made our company's GST application. He'll go ahead and file the returns and look at the compliance. Let him earn X minus 20. I save 20. The particular employee earns more. And because he's earning more out of us, hopefully he'll stay with us for longer.
Gaurav, you picked a startup in insurance.
Right.
In my head, insurance means you have to be out on the field.
Absolutely.
You will be making calls, you will be doing sales calls, you will be out on the field a lot more than office. Which means that you've started this company knowing that you're never going to sit in an AC office putting your feet up.
Okay.
You're always going to be out on the field, you're going to be speaking to clients, you're always going to be, it's not a subscription automatic model. Ho gaya.
Right.
We will always keep getting, you said Filmfare.
Right.
I'm pretty sure you're not going to take it for granted that we've done it this
Can't
year.
take it for granted.
Next year it'll come again.
Yeah.
You will keep hustling and getting more.
Absolutely.
Usually entrepreneurs, most people that I know at least, they start a company because they are trying to make money quickly and then try and retire. That's not where you are coming from.
That's not where I'm coming from, but that is where I want to be. So like I said initially, I've not figured out the business model as yet. So when I said I've not figured out the business model, that is where I was. So what happens is, see, when you've worked in a particular industry for a few years, so आपने वो जो रगड़ाई घिसाई है वो किया है. At a particular point, फिर ये आता है कि do you want to switch industries completely, or do you want to monetize and build up on whatever experience you've made. So right now, what happens is, as you rightly said, it's an industry where you need to keep meeting clients. But one thing that I learned from my marketing or the 2 years of bachelor's in media and entertainment was there is something called as push marketing. Me calling you up and say insurance le lo, insurance le lo, insurance le lo. There's something called pull marketing, wherein me becoming a panel speaker at a conference and talking about an exhibition insurance, talking about an event insurance. And there what we've seen is once you deploy more of pull marketing, people come to you.
Who are the guests at such events?
So essentially these are industry conferences. So the last one that I had attended was for the exhibition organizers industry.
How do you get guests at these conventions, and who are these guests? If you're having a guest from one company, at what designation do you get these guests?
So essentially these conferences are organized by industry associations. So every industry will have an association. Say for the exhibition industry is Indian Exhibition Industry Association. They have an annual conference. All the exhibition organizers would be attending the conference, typically the directors of all organizers. So they attend it, and then the association will typically curate different sessions on which are of relevance to that particular industry. So most of the time when we come in is in aspects of risk management and insurance for a particular exhibition industry or an event industry or film industry. That is where we come.
Gaurav, but more importantly, how do you get on stage in these events? Right? Because I'm quite sure a lot of other people, and you know, for these events, sometimes it's paid. You have to pay to get a slot. Sometimes you have to pitch to get a slot. So, how did you break into this whole circuit in the first place?
So that again was a bit of hustling. So for any industry, there are two routes. One is they will have an association. Typically, there are colleges who teach about a particular skill or an industry. So there are many colleges uh, that have a diploma in event management,
Yes.
diploma in exhibition management. Probably Augustine Woods does different programs in direction, production, those things. So I'll tell you how I made it to the first one. I used to go to a particular industry conference, and as you rightly said, the 3-day delegate pass can cost anywhere from 15,000 to 25,000.
Really?
Yeah, because it's a B2B conference, you want to meet a lot of prospects and leads. The cost is 15 to 25,000 for a 3-day conference, but it's worth it if you kind of know how to play it well.
Must we also have champagne dinners every evening?
Not champagne, dinners here. So typically what happens is I used to go and attend this particular conference for 3-4 years as a delegate. Like you pay your delegate fee, wear your blazer, carry your business card, go around networking, that sort of a thing. Now, in the same industry, there was a new player, so as to say. They were also coming up with a concept of exhibition for that particular industry. So one is you have an established player. Now the established player, वहाँ पे पैसे देके जाना था.
Yep.
Right, and वहाँ पे it takes 2 or 3 years of attending a conference for people to register you.
Okay.
तो यार ये दिख रहा है बार बार.
Yes.
अलग अलग इवेंट. यहाँ
Yes.
बॉम्बे वाले में दिख रहा है, दिल्ली वाले में दिख रहा है, तो a familiar face, right? So one is that aspect helps over a period of time. The new exhibition, that the new confidence that was being come that had come up, they had approached us saying that you become a sponsor for the event. So we said that I don't have a product to sell. There is no product that I can show.
This is what year?
This was a couple of years ago.
Okay.
So I said I don't have a product that I can show. There is insurance is not a cup of this a mug or something, right, that I can show. I said if you want me to come on board as sponsor, I'll pay you the sponsorship fee, but you need to allow me to curate a session on safety, risk management, insurance.
Yep.
So sometimes you have to create a stage for yourself.
Did you ask for specific day, specific time?
Specific day, specific time. I will decide the panelists because I'm paying them. I will decide the panelists. I will curate the session.
And how did this help you?
What it did was, once I did this session, that was the first time I was on stage at an industry convention or a conference or a speech. When people see you on stage and speaking, it does create a difference, because a lot of there were a couple of exhibition organizers that I was chasing for the last 2 years. Cold calling, meeting them at exhibitions, exchanging my visiting card. I couldn't get a breakthrough. Post this session, as we all walked down from the dais, that same exhibition organizer walked up to me. He handed his card and said, "This is what we do. Sir, we would like you to consult us on insurance matters." Another thing that happened is the bigger conference that happens. A few of the delegates had attended the smaller conference as well. Suddenly, they saw, yeah, he is speaker hai. When we're doing our bigger conference, we can invite him.
Has it happened?
And it happened. So a lot of times you have to create a situation for yourself.
So, I've seen this thing in Bangalore. There's a tech conference called GITS.
Yeah.
And a lot of the sponsors get a slot. One of the premium sponsors get a slot on stage 10-15 minutes.
Absolutely.
So, 2 questions. To get that slot, you have to pay top dollar. I mean, they're not going to give you something just like that. There's so many other, right? So, I'm guessing you would have paid for that slot. Number 2, more importantly, how do you get the audience on board? Because here's the thing: I paid for a conference, right? These are all the speakers. Oh, the sponsor's coming now. Oh, the sponsor's coming. He's going to tell me about this thing. See, the sponsor is not the main item on the
Main
plate,
item.
right? The sponsor is there to sell his stuff. So how do you prevent people from, okay, the sponsor session, or yeah, get up and go, come back from actual sessions? How do you remove the bias in people's mind? If at all you feel it exists, that this is a sponsor who anyway has a stall outside, he's going to come and talk about his stuff. I don't really want this, do I? But I think this is what. How do you get along?
So one thing that we did was we made sure we do not have a stall. I said I do not want a stall.
Okay.
I want 30 minutes of your agenda time. Secondly, while I am into insurance, I made sure that the session per se is not about insurance. It's about safety, risk management. The word insurance was not even there in the session.
Okay. Why?
The idea is that if it said exhibition insurance, probably 5 people would be sitting. The moment we named it as safety and risk management in events, it sounds a lot more appealing. Suddenly, from being a sponsor session, it is something being this is a topic that could be interesting. Maybe not for the director, maybe someone who's head of productions in that particular company, for him it would be interesting. Third is on the cost point, what we did was I identified the panel speakers that I identified who would speak on safety parts, on ground safety parts, on legal. So we had a panel of 4 people and the cost we shared equally. So again, individually me picking up would have been a higher tab. We went to them and said, look, this is going to be a collective marketing for all of us. So let us all split the cost. And end of the day, ensure that the session is there. You're not talking about products. I didn't even speak about insurance. But when safety, risk, accident, everything got mentioned, it ultimately comes down to the
Insurance.
lane where I wanted to be.
So instead of selling your product, you explain to the audience why your product exists.
Exactly.
And then obviously they felt the pain. You started with why, basically.
Yeah. So interesting. I noticed a lot of your business acumen. Correct me if I'm wrong. You learned it from your experience.
Yeah.
Or from the street, as they would say, street smart, right? I'm not sure. Was there any part of technical education which actually helped make you who you are, or was a lot of it because of your on the street experience?
So in terms of knowing the product and stuff, definitely that's where technical education helps. Otherwise, it's a lot of street stuff. Now, when I used to sell life insurance, the first couple of years were more reactive, like, okay, you're going, speaking, no result, you're coming back frustrated. Somewhere at the end of 2.5, 3 years, I started taking each sales meeting as an experience. Go have your sales meeting. If it does, after you've come from the meeting, do an analysis of what went well, what didn't went well.
Who taught you to do this?
That came from within. So essentially, I was there was another insurance agent, Tushar Savla. We used to stand outside Internet call center.
Let me just stop. Is the AC too cold? You're kind of shivering. Someone just give me the AC remote whenever you can. Yeah, but go ahead.
So we used to stand outside Internet call center, distribute pamphlets, get leads, call them up, go for a meeting. When that did work, me and Tushar, the third day we went inside Internet for an interview, cracked the interview, got the job, started networking for a month, got a lot of policies, resigned from Internet 1 month afterwards. So it's a lot of crazy stuff that you want to do, but what we did was after each sales meeting, we would come back and analyze. This is what went well, this is what didn't went well.
Nothing triggered this. It just happened organically like that one day.
It was, see, what happens is, like I said, the bigger trigger was something
But that was for you, Tushar.
No, so he was like, so what he was doing was he was kind of at one point of time following my lead, so as to say. He was like, here's this crazy guy who's like, getting things done. So let me join, we'll, like, both of us will. So we've done crazy stuff. So, like, we've kept a life insurance stall outside a smashan. No,
outside a place where the bodies are burnt.
we've not sold insurance there.
Okay.
All we've said is we've extended our card and said, in case you need help with the insurance claim, get in touch. They are not talking to you about life insurance will do, general insurance will do, medical will do. No. In case you need help with the claim, let us know. We've got a call saying that हम लोग का ये claim कहीं पे अटका है. Can you help us out? Me and Tushar went, sorted that out, respectively said that because we are going to do this, there will be a small fee that we will charge. The claim got cleared out. Those guys are still our clients today.
Have you had people giving you stares when you do that?
Bad states. Bad states. But
How does it not feel awkward? How do you, or do you just get over it? कि यार ठीक है, it's going to look awkward.
so probably that phase it was like try karo. Like of course that one experience was kind of too strong. We did it only once, but in that phase we were trying things. क्या ये करना है चलो कर लेते हैं. Now internet में जाके you just got a job because you wanted to get inside, have conversations. At the end of 1 month we left it.
Okay.
So a lot of crazy things there.
Now I have to ask you this question. If you are hiring for pro advice, what are you exactly looking for in somebody's CV?
I think the only thing that I try and look is whether the guy has the hunger or not.
How do you find that out?
So typically what happens is when you're hiring someone, you first hire an instinct. Probably the next 15-20 days I'm trying to assess whether how is this guy a particular person's approach to work. That bit is more important. You can learn the products, you can learn the soft skills. With enough number of failures, you will learn how to sell as well. But if the approach is right, that is what matters. What I do is probably if I've hired someone new, maybe I tell him I'm not going to be there for an entire day. You do your stuff. But I'll end up in the office in the afternoon, give me an idea of what the person is doing.
So in today's market, people shift jobs once a year, twice a year, and a lot of employees assume that this is very skittish behavior, not permanent in one place. Another way of reading it is someone is very ambitious, they need to move fast, they want to grow. So which type of people would you prefer? Is there a template you prefer people who are longer in a company or people who move fast? So again, following up Krishna's question, I mean, how do you actually catch this behavior? Is it possible to catch it in an interview? Have you ever caught this hunger in the interview, or you need to give them up?
So I've caught this not in the interview, but probably in the first 15 days of interaction, being able to catch it. There is one of the employees. Now, after he had joined in, would be about 10-12 days. He said, I want to have a conversation. I said, okay, fine, let's have the conversation. He said, I want to earn 1 lakh rupees a month. Tell me what do I need to do.
It's a good question.
In case you are not able to answer the question, I will have to look out for answer anyways because I want to earn 1 lakh rupees a month. Simple. I was not ready for the question, didn't have an answer. I said, okay, got it. Give me a couple of days, we'll work out a plan. So again, that's where the salesy side of me got in, and I said, give me I'll work out a plan for you. The idea was I didn't have a clue. Took 2-3 days to myself, sat down and figured out if this person wants to earn, let me just run, which is where I came up with that laddering incentive idea. Like if he wants to earn more, he needs to become an expert in a particular idea, so that if suppose today an inquiry comes to me, I just have to forward the mail to him. He will give the quote over a period of time, he'll learn how to close it. Now probably he started making things. Couple of months ago, he drew a salary of 86,000 rupees. Not 1 lakh, but then it's still there. So probably now in his mind, he now has an answer to the solution. What I tell is at the start of the month, your salary check and my salary check, both of them are blank.
Yes.
You decide what amount you want to fill up. If you hit the numbers, we fill that up. If it doesn't, realize that probably it will go down. For the salary, for the employees it doesn't. If there is a basic salary there. For June 2024, we had a lot of inquiries, but the conversions didn't happen in June 2024, the same month. Everyone else got the salary, the landlord got the rent. I did not pick up a salary. Because I realized that if the company needs to do X amount of productivity in a particular month, which it hasn't, and the level of productivity that you've achieved is only paying off the salaries and expenses. So June 2024, I was salaryless. So again, you will not all the employees you will get like that, but over a period of time you will pick out those people. And then my responsibility is to see that give them whatever it takes, but I do not want that particular employee to go. Now, one thing that I am planning to do for him is he will complete 2 years in December. I've told him that once you complete 2 years in December, the company will start investing 5,000 rupees per month in your name, but it will come to you only if you stay with the organization
Gratuity.
for another 3 years.
Gratuity.
Sort of, so gratuity is still your what you're legally liable to.
Yes.
This is over and above the gratuity.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that this person is there with me for the next 3 years.
It's a great idea.
So again, you read up, you think, sometimes you think from an employee shoes. If I was in this place, what would make me stick to a particular thing? Again, with that particular employee, I discuss a lot of plans in terms of next 2-3 years में क्या करना है. That particular employee knows कि we do not have a defined business structure. So वो भी openly बात करे यार अभी काम कर रहे हैं, turnover हो रहा है, turnover is growing by an X percentage, but there is no big plan as of now. What do you think can be a big plan? कुछ idea आता तो बता. So when you want to involve that person more, I believe the more you keep a person involved, he needs to feel that power कि अगर मेरे को 4 लाख कमाना है, I should be able to earn out of this.
So one of the strengths which you have, I think your company mostly you have, you're a terrific salesman. I mean, to be able to do what you do.
No, I'll correct that. I'll say he's become a terrific salesman. Because something he said in the beginning, right, that he was just doing cold calls, getting frustrated.
Yeah.
And I've still not been able to figure out what was that trigger where he decided to start reflecting, thinking, and analyzing. He's become a phenomenal salesman.
So I'm going to pivot the question to you also. Succeeding in a company like this, sales is an important part. Why do we not have a subject in technical education focused on sales? It's too much on marketing, finance, HR, but sales seems to be like a floater. I mean, since you're an MBA.
There was a subject. We had a subject on sales.
Was it a huge, did it give you like 4 P's of marketing? There's so much.
Marketing was, we had sales as a subject. And for sales, we were given a task that you have to go to this market and you have to do this particular activity. The objective was to get out of your
comfort zone.
Correct.
So you've had to prepare a sales plan?
Yes. You had to go to a grocery shop, ask them to start stocking this particular item and convince them to start stocking up that particular item. It was a case study.
So this was kind of the stuff which you learned on the street by observing people doing that. So good question. I want your opinion to see someone who's actually been on the street, right? Not on the street. Learn on the street, right? Doesn't have an MBA. didn't go to formal technical education, doesn't know about finance, gets people to manage it. The HR, he can comes with very good policies to retain people. He's apparently doing everything what an MBA is taught to do without having the education, right? It's so. This MBA really, this is Krishna, this is straight to you. Reflection. I mean,
If you are going to, so he's succeeded.
yeah.
He's one of the rare people. There are far too many people who probably were insurance agents just like him when he was 18,
Yeah.
who have not started Pro Advice, who didn't go out and hustle, who joined, who were probably his batchmates there in that college and were like me, just drinking after college. He, for some reason, had that passion, and I understood the reason when he answered. If you have that, do MBA, don't do MBA, you'll find a way to be successful.
Okay.
It's Nietzsche, right? And if you have a why,
Yeah.
you can endure any what.
But the question is, when does the why come? How late in life does it come? How early in life does it come? It can come anytime.
No answer there. Yes, it can come anytime. For him, it came unfortunately at a very early age, but again, that could have it can make or break you. I think it did both to him. It broke him and allowed him to remake himself in a different way. Yes?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to come back to the insurance side of it a little bit, just to ask this. You said when you're doing these exhibitions, you don't have a product. You don't have a mug to display, you don't have a product.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So when you're doing a cold call, what do you do as soon as you
So
pick up?
as of date, we don't do cold calls.
Okay.
Our focus predominantly now is in reaching out to people through conferences and stuff. Because I have been a panel speaker at a couple of conferences. Now what happens is when there was the exhibition industry conference, they had the first ever professional exhibition management program. And where risk management insurance was one of the subjects. So they asked me to come and give a lecture.
Okay.
So once we did that, then there was a parallel conference in Jaipur. So one of the faculties who was there, he said, we have a conference in Jaipur. Why don't you speak on this particular topic? So
Do you charge for this?
as of now, no. So they would probably not pay also because they also know that it becomes a marketing opportunity. So they're smart that way, like we indirectly give, and if you do it smartly, you will get leads and you will get clients. So as of now, the focus is to be more focused on the pull aspects. I do not want to pick up phone and call anyone for insurance.
So you answered my earlier question. I was saying that it looks like you're always meeting clients and hustling.
So
But
but the more pull you create, then what happens is even if you are meeting someone, it's the way of meeting is different. It's
how do you create pull? How would someone who's watching this, for example, and if you can give me an industry agnostic answer,
okay.
or first say how would you do it in your industry, and then some advice for how would you do it in an industry agnostic way. How do you create
So
pull?
probably in the insurance industry, what I've understood is if you call up someone and do a cold call, your perception goes down.
Okay.
Now understand, when you would have bought a particular insurance from say a distributor, your first level of decision making is, do I want to work with this individual or not?
Okay. Yes.
Then it's probably कौन सा company का क्या insurance. Your first level is मेरे को इसके साथ deal करना है कि नहीं.
Agreed.
So first is that is where probably you need to invest a bit in terms of attending a conference, in terms of over a period of time ensuring that you have speaking opportunities. That requires time and effort and investment. But what I felt was after I attended conferences for 2 years, 3 years, I was now a regular face. As of now, proadvice.in doesn't have a website.
Okay.
We got it made through some digital marketing agency. After they had done it, there was some virus issue, the website crashed. Complete mess. I do not have a website. But the fact that I've attended conferences, I've met you 3 or 4 times, creates enough of a trust
Okay.
for you to want to work with me. So one is that. Secondly, in terms of the more video creation, video content creation, those things that you do, or probably what happens is if there is a industry magazine. Now we need to understand that the magazine at all point of time is looking at advertisement revenue. They want to come and sell me a full page advertisement. I would go back to them and say that I don't want a full page ad. I'll give you an article, or this is the topic of risk management, safety, insurance. Let there be a smaller article from my end. Take comments from industry experts. It needs to come as a news article, not as an advertisement. The more you be like that, the more pull you will create.
So, in IT we have a phrase, it's called the trusted advisor. I think you're
Exactly.
right? So
Exactly.
you come across as an expert in the field.
Exactly.
You don't push your brand out front and center. You come across as a trusted advisor, and then people, wow, you know so much, now you pull out your card.
Exactly.
Now
Exactly.
I work for Pro Advice, now
Exactly.
do you want to do this? I think this is why when they look at them, they don't see him as selling a product. They see him as a subject matter expert who can advise them. That's when he
Essentially, you
goes-
want to get
then he
into
goes
that
for it. So
particular.
I think that's the trick.
So all your blogging, all your creating content, everything.
So, okay, let me put it this way now. If you had to give me advice, I'm not trying to be a content creator.
Okay.
So I have to pretty much go to my subscribers who are watching and say, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon.
Absolutely.
Now that is me push marketing.
Yeah, probably the last part of it is push marketing.
So how would I be a pull marketer?
No, the idea is if you're creating content for a niche, be at it.
Time.
Secondly, understand where is your target audience.
Okay.
So probably while you're curating the podcast, you need to understand that is there any, say if there was a social nation event which was for social media influencers, probably you want to be there.
Okay.
That is where you get to speak to a lot of content creators. So you need to be present in that industry. When you're present in that industry, a lot of other opportunities will come up. Now I'll tell you something that we are kind of working on right now is an idea called as a YouTube channel on business insurance,
Okay.
where we want to create content around business insurance because that is something that a lot of people know.
I agree. I didn't know anything about it when we started.
Now, typically, if you go to a company, how it works is the director would have heard that I am organizing an event insurance hota hai.
Yep.
He would not take effort to know more about it. He would reach out to his finance and say, iske baare mein pata karo, send me details. So the content channel that we are wanting to make, we will focus it on the accounts executives of companies, focus it on the business insurance or probably the finance students who are studying about banking, finance, insurance in MBA colleges. Because I have given lectures there. A second year banking, finance, and insurance industry student doesn't really know much.
Okay.
So we'll create content around that. The focus is to keep entirely B2B. The more content that comes up, in another 2-3 years, we see a possibility where if a Bajaj Allianz is launching a new office insurance product, they would probably want to advertise it or come to our podcast, come to our YouTube channel and talk about it. So that is called financial media. You have financial services where people are distributing products. You have fintech industries.
Yep.
The financial media and education part of it is not explored. That is what the long-term plan is.
When you decide to start, please send us the links. We will include it if we can with this episode. Otherwise, we'll definitely promote it whenever we can. And I think it's a good place to start wrapping up.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're going to come again, Gaurav. I'm letting you right now. I think we need one more episode.
Yeah, we do.
Because here is some things that I feel like I still don't understand. The exact process of how do you do the reinsurance. I would love for him to actually demonstrate to us how he does a pitch.
Yeah, that would be
Because
great.
it's
yeah.
insane. At whatever he has done so far, I feel like we've only scratched the surface of what all he's been able to do.
But you know, the surprising thing is the next time he comes back, he may be a financial insurance.
He might be our
influencer.
competition, man.
He may be an influencer.
He'll be our competition.
We
We're
may have to pay him to make him to come out. He may be an influencer. Yeah.
We won't. You know what he'll do? He'll say, Krishna, don't have to pay me, but look at this building. I'm pretty sure we should get an insurance done for every tenant in this building.
Yeah.
And he'll do it also. Gaurav, it is an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming to this podcast. I'm telling you right now, open invitation. We must have you one more time. This was educational at another level. The key takeaway for me that I'm going to remember from this is I'm calling it the indirect approach. That you had an aim that look, I need to grow my business. But instead of me going upfront and asking for business, I'm going to explain why you need this business.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to make people talk about the risks that they're going to face.
Exactly.
And then once everyone understands that this is a risk, hey guys, I have a solution. Here's insurance.
Exactly.
That's a beautiful takeaway for me.
Yeah. The takeaway which I got, which I would have liked to dwell a little bit more, not really a takeaway. You have a funny bone, don't you? You do open mics, you make people laugh. Yeah.
Okay.
How about you leave us with a nice parting joke that
Thank you for putting on the spot.
Take his case. Take his case.
No, I think jokes basically, yeah. I think doing improv is something that I enjoy. I think it's my that's my first personality. I feel so. Yeah, I think whenever there is an open mic or if you want to do something stupid.
Did it come from the media thing you went into? Open mic?
Not really, but that is probably. Yeah, I think I have an habit of shooting myself in the foot at least once in a month, saying stupid things and doing stupid things.
I have no idea what he's talking about. Pineapple Podcast, episode 4. Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Gaurav.
much for coming, Gaurav.
That's it.